Thanks, Jen's Gems. That's Sweet Caroline group. Makes me feel less alone. It's really cool. Everybody in there, thanks for being you. Authenticity is beautiful. Thank you. I told Jen once that I hadn't listened to Sweet Caroline in a while. And yeah, the Mandela effect has affected my version as well. They never felt so good, not seemed so good. And for me, because I lived the last 3 years with beach music on Wednesday nights, and that was a do-over song, guaranteed almost every day, every week. A staple for the place I lived. That I should have known my Spotify would have it changed, but and I don't have an original version except for maybe on a mixtape that probably left in Alberta somewhere. I don't know. It's been an amazing day. I got to be toes and feet in the sand for the first time. I touched sand yesterday, but I don't really count that just because it was at the park. And this was beach. And it's a good day to have your feet in the sand for the first time. It really is. Dawn led me and a bunch of brothers and sisters to an amazing person. I gotta find her video. Where is that? Oh my gosh. Really? Where is it? House of Beloved. I know that I know, and I be as I am. The first video that I've listened to, and especially today of all days. Again, for me it's about Ishtar, a celebration of the fact that I'm a woman and my fertility in general going on around the world. The fertility of the new awakening souls, hearts and minds merging. And yeah, I would highly recommend that video to anyone to get in touch with their feminine. This includes the brothers. You know, it's a beautiful perspective. It's everything that if I could have had the eloquence and words to say that I would. And it's a beautiful thing when you find a sister who's able to put into words and share those words. And in moment 1212 in that video, I was floored. It's a strange world to be 47 years old in, and to have loved, to have given everything. Listen to her video, you'll understand. That video soothed the Mary in me. The Mary that I have in my name. And the Mary that just comes with the feminine part of us. It's a very healing video. Probably deleted this one. I don't remember if it's before my deleted my videos or after, but energy flows where attention goes. Look that up if you already don't live by those words, but where you choose to focus your attention is the energy you're going to get back. And that is so important right now. It always has been, but if you can integrate that in your every moment, every thought, you've got it. That's it. Gonna re-shout out Cosmic Kiss. I forget the video, what exactly it was called, but when you walk the middle road, and you walk in the middle, and you see every perspective as beautiful. It really changes everything. Maybe I word it differently than other people, but I love the darkness as much as I love the light. I see the role of everything in the whole, in its entirety, and it's a beautiful plan. It took me a long time to get here. To be the empath who wanted to go to the Easter egg hunt today and didn't just do it to please my daughter, but did it 100% whole, entirely, knowing that there would be a crowd and immersing myself in it and enjoying every second of it. I know that to what point that I was overjoyed and childlike and just happy, to what point some of the parents that were there and maybe having trouble integrating the energies, that it helped pivot them up to that feeling of, wow, this really is magical. When you look at things through the eyes of a child and you bring that into your life, where every step that you take, you choose to see joy, and you use your imagination for every single thing that comes into your life, everything becomes beautiful. You know, I remember saying to my landlord a couple years ago, I think I said this in another video, but again, I don't remember if it's a deleted one. I says to him, I says, Darren, I have a bed of gold delivered to my bedroom window every spring. Like, thank you. This is like the most beautiful thing. I never thought I would grow up to be like this princess that had a bed of gold delivered to her bedroom window. And you know, he laughed, not at me, but with me, saying like, Michelle, only you could turn like a truck bed of mulch with golden colors into, you know, a poetry moment, into something beautiful. The person who lived here before you would say like, oh my god, when are you going to get this away from like my bedroom window? The guy's coming in and out with the wheelbarrows is driving me batshit. And you're turning it into that the workers who are coming to get the mulch, you're seeing it as gold. And I was seeing them as like knights delivering the gold everywhere. And there's beauty in making everything into something that makes your imagination flow and turns everything into magic. And as cheeseball as it may sound, to say I live a fairy tale, I'd rather live a fairy tale than a horror story. I've already seen my life as a horror story in certain parts of it. And when I exited those situations, they became my biggest blessings and made me who I was. And my strength that I derived from those horror stories is easier to see them as the fairy tale again. You want to look at a fairy tale as just that one part at the end where it says like, oh, and they live happily ever after. That's your choice. But if you look at an overall fairy tale, especially like, you know, really old school ones and the original ones, a fairy tale is a life. There's everything from beginning to end, you know, and we don't get that lived happily ever after. Like there's always the day after happily ever after. And what you choose to make those days is a choice. So, you know, some people get married, and after that event, that day, it's like downhill from there. And I've lived that, so I know that is a fact. Um, but I've also lived like making the best of a relationship, even if it wasn't the best. And then when I realized like there is no um, keeping this contract together, you know, there wasn't a paper contract, but the soul contract was done. Um, you exit that timeline and you soar into the next one. It's the hanging on that hurts. The I must do this. I said I would. We have a house together. We have this. We have that. We can't do this because of the kids. It's those things that hurt because once you've made those decisions and move into your next timeline, um, you know, sometimes it's not overnight. Success in the parenting that style that changes, but sometimes it is. You know, I remember in 2004 when I left my husband, and he thought I was destroying him. He thought that he would never make it through. And he asked me, like, why did you do this? And I said, because we don't have a bond or a relationship. We have children, a house, and we have nothing else. And, you know, he was very angry at me. Flow to about 6 to 8 months later, after he'd gone through his pain and, you know, all the emotions that went with his pain, when he thanked me for what I did, that he realized that I just saw it first. And, you know, fast forward now to, I'm not the sharpest math tool in the shed, but 2004 to 2019, that's like 15 years later, where he's with his partner that he found, you know, a year after when he was healed from his journey of us leaving each other, and that they've had a child together who's turning 6 this week. And that child wouldn't exist. And this child is, you know, we had 2 children together. He has his awesome bonds with them, but this child is one of his biggest soul contracts and biggest bonds he's ever had in his life. So, you know, there's no the pain and the and whatever you feel that is a destruction, a tower, you know, burning, um, gets rebuilt into majestical, beautiful things that were meant to be. Two geese. Yeah, I didn't get out on the lake like I wanted to today in the kayak. There's a lot of open water, um, but there's just not enough to get from shore to the lake without maybe just red flags are up and it's telling me to just simmer down, baby. Wait till the opening is better, because at this point I could maybe push to get on the lake, but because the opening is not good enough, it, it would be a question of like just get out but have no idea how to get back in um, safely. Right now there's no wind, so the lake looks like it looks, right? But within the next week we'll have some strong wind, and then if I didn't choose to put my kayak in a safe place, I'm fucked. My kayak's either most likely going to end up at, you know, in the French River somewhere, and that's far away. So it was good enough to get into the sand. That was already more than I had even thought would happen today, so that was pretty cool. Hope you guys are doing good. Shine on through these energies. They're really beautiful.